Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Rao Kulusu. I'm starting my room today. I'll give a few minutes for you to join me. Hope you are all doing well. And today I was writing an article on what is a sage's mind, what is a beginner's mind, how are these terms are related to our information age, modern era, okay, where we are overwhelmed with a lot of thinking, too much thinking, and not having this quiet, serene mind that the sages display, right? And also to have a mind that is not burdened with a lot of things, but with curiosity and wonderment, right? There's a difference between what is sage mind and what is the beginner's mind. You know, that is something that I have been uh, experiencing and living it for a while anyway. I talk about calmness, I talk about um, serenity in the mind, and several of the same features that are with a solitude of mind, right? So why do we call the sages sage anyway? Because they don't work according to the conditioned thought. They work because of what they have experienced, and from the past theories and everything that people talk about, they take them out and then really experience those realities and perceive them by themselves. They don't follow anybody's uh, dictum, right? So that kind of thing really helps them a lot. Okay, so when you focus on that, then you will know that you can repeat like a rabbit somebody else's sayings, or you could go and investigate into the truth of the matter and experience that reality for yourself. That is the sage. Okay, so he doesn't live on somebody else's conclusions, somebody else's truth. He will discover the truth himself, and then what he's talking about is far more than our conditioned mind, our limited mind, right? So that is what the difference between an ordinary mind and a sage's mind. Hi, Nazli, welcome. So understanding that and understanding the potential of our own mind is really important, right? So these sages, they talk from the deep experiential reality that they have experienced, and then they go beyond other that were supposed to be truths, right? Like for example, somebody says, "Oh, you get a lot of money, you'll be very happy." They will come and tell you, "No, real happiness is in yourself. You have to experience these truths within yourself, then you will be happy." Whereas other people will buy that and then they go like that, right? Whereas sages do not do that. And also, the beginner's mind is where they don't have any specific conclusions, and they kind of perceive things as they are, and are able to maintain the curiosity, wonderment within themselves, and thereby they're more like start to investigate, start to experiment, start to really pay attention to things that are outside our box, like, right? So that's the difference between a sage's mind and a beginner's mind. First of all, we don't really pay attention to what is mind. Is there really a mind, or is there only thought and they are able to control the thought and able to go beyond thought and perceive things, right? So there is a difference between thought and perception, experiencing here and now, and experiencing something going into the past, our memories, or our imagination into the future. All these things are really subtle differences, but ultimately the truth of the matter is we can be awake and aware in a crisis, or in a moment where we are threatened and all that, because we won't think about anything else at the time. That kind of fresh uh, mind is where you don't have any thought. The thoughts have stalled, and then you are with whatever is going on, like a plane going down. The pilot will have only 1 minute, and they tell you most of the time what kind of mind that these people have at the time. They don't have anything. They don't think of anything. All they do is just to go down, and then they just feel like no thought, but then just instinct take over, and then they go to the intelligence and work. Several sages talked about this. For example, Krishnamurti, he talked about perception over this thinking that is judgmental, that is not perceiving, but actually bringing memory or bringing imagination, right? Whereas Ramana talked about thoughts as objects. Thought is put together and we call it mind. But if you really examine, there is no mind. There are only thoughts. So such kind of thoughts are very, very important to understand and experience ourselves. Whenever we are paying attention to a sunset, for example, if you go on thinking about the sunset, then you are not actually in touch with that sunset, right? That's very evident. So if you are really describing it in words and then doing all that, is okay, but you are not really experiencing the sunset as it is going down, and you are not in touch with that, that kind of thing. So this, I think I misspelled the title. It's supposed to have in sage's mind. I know how the skins cut there. Hopefully people will understand what I'm talking about. So the mind, the thoughts, the experiences, the perceptions, these are the various terms we want to understand. What is the benefit of that is, if you can be with that sunset without having any rumbling of descriptions or memories or your own projections, you are really experiencing the sunset, the beauty of it, the warmthness of it, and the whole redness and everything, right? If you can experience it, then that is when your mind is silent, and then you are able to really perceive as the sunset is going down, right? Otherwise, you can describe it, you can remember some things from it. Oh, so and so did. I've seen similar things like that comparisons, conclusions, all those things. Without that, if can you just stay with the presence of sun going down, that is when you are really in the beginner's mind or the sage's mind, whichever it is. But sages really get this annihilation of the so-called mind by really understanding that there are only thoughts, there's no real mind, only experiences, right? Whereas in a beginner's mind, you have this curiosity, you have this wonderment, you have this interest to find out. That is called in Sanskrit mumukshatva. That means they have this natural inquiry, natural questioning about what is this, how is this, how I can happen this, that kind of thing. Okay, so even in advanced meditation practices, what they say is, first listen. When you are listening, also don't listen with a noisy mind, but a receptive mind. And after listening, don't accept it. Don't take it for granted that is the truth. What you want to do is, you want to really go beyond it, and they say, why it is true, or how can I can understand this is true. That kind of questioning that's done by us really opens our own mind, our own understanding, right? So suppose somebody tells you, okay, go to the end of the street. There is a mango shop, and go there and eat. Now, if you imagine it, you won't experience that. But if you go there and then take a mango and then eat it, then you'll really experience the taste of it, the deliciousness, and oh, enjoyment and all. So that's an experience like that. If somebody tells you the truth, you get to really understand. Somebody says honesty is the best policy. We know it because we know if we are not honest, we pay the price for the lying or whatever we do, no matter what the circumstances are. So that kind of sense of truth is there within us. Okay, to really go over the stuff that is present to us, questioning, doubting, and all that, without expecting, without accepting whatever they say, without saying their authority, that's why they're telling you we're going to do it. No, you want to explore the truth of the matter or anything. Then, out of that questioning, you really experience what is what. And your own experience shows you what is the truth. And then you kind of accept it. So that is the sage's mind is they don't want to be influenced by anybody. They don't want to be told by anybody. They want to take their own special investigation into the universal truths. And they did that with intuitive, meditative awareness, right? When they have done that, what they have done is okay, this is why this is the truth, and they experience the truth, and they will have no problem doing that. That is where the sage's mind happens because it happened out of your experience, right? We are all capable of that. Our difficulty is we have so many thoughts, so many conclusions, so many influences that go on within our mind. We never even have a moment of stopping them. That's why all this mindfulness, meditativeness, all these systems are taught. Suppose you are very calm and quiet by nature and you don't really amass so many opinions, conclusions, and all that, you'll have very few thoughts. Then you don't have to do this many processes of meditation. But what's happening with the information age, we are dealing with so many thoughts on a daily basis. Before it is like somebody can play and somebody can work, and the work is so simple now. But now most of our work is in our mind, right? So we don't learn a technique and go and work in flow. We go there and then there's so many things come at us, right? So much, at least for me, that is the truth, so many patients, so many problems, so many complaints, so many requests, so many things come at us, and then so many notifications, so many people to send you the lot of data. Let's just call it that way. And then this is unnaturally too much of information that is coming to us. It's not like I can go and just ride in the car without the radio, without the phone, without all that, and then go to the workplace in peace. It's not. It seems it's not natural. Now, natural is listen to the phone, listen to the radio, listen to the traffic, listen to the driver, and all that. Right? When you go to the hospital, then you have so many things. So you got to special arrangement you have to make to let you be left alone instead of all this. So I kind of built several layers in the clinic so that I will do what I am supposed to do, that is to spend time with the patient and talk to him, diagnose and treat him, right? But then that's why all the telephone calls that come for the making appointments or any billing questions or anything that is related to getting there to the clinic and getting interest and all that is taken care of by other staff, right? They do that, So I don't get the phone calls from the clinic like that. Somebody handles, and then they come and ask me, this person is calling. Shall I put him through something like that? So those layers protect me to do the main thing. So the same thing we have to do our regular personal life too. Don't pay attention to all the emails right away. Have some discipline. Don't pay attention to all the phone calls. So don't have to pick it up and just see the message. If it's important, then you do it. That that kind of separation from all these numerous notifications or stimuli, that's good for you in the long run, right? So The sage's mind happens when you really know what is important, what is not. How should I keep out of the non-important things from my mind? Then you'll only have mind that is really um, happening to you, and then experiential mind, that is the knowledge that you will take over because it is personally experienced by you. So those kind of um, facts are there for every mind. How much you want to occupy yourself, how much you want to make yourself liberated from that is all up to you, right? It's something like uh, somebody is calling me. Let me hang it up. Okay, so somebody called me. Sorry about that. So it's all so this somebody I don't know. So I just saw the voice message that is coming on my screen, and that they declined it. So those kind of screens that we can put ourselves so that we will think consciously. We will think what is important for us. First of all, people don't sit down and decide what is important for me, what is not, because the gossip, we want to know everything that's going on, right? And also retain all that too. So I really, unless you remind me, all the non-essential things are out of my mind. I may remember if you recall something like a something happened, some like, but then if it is not important, if it's like a casual talk, I don't usually engage. So what I'm saying is, understand what is his mind, understand why that is important in this modern information age, understand what is beginner's mind, understand its importance to learn new things, to be open to new things, and all that. And thereby you live, you really experience, and then you also take interest in new things because you don't brush aside and say, I know everything, this is the only thing. But things change, right? Science also changes. But then if you don't absorb them, then you won't have the capacity to learn the new thing. A lot of people, they shut their mind completely to new things. Okay, especially in the doctors community, we see that we have an orthopedic doctor. That orthopedic doctor has been doing a lot of surgeries for so many years, right? And he was using only particular antibiotic, particular technique and all. But then new regulations about antibiotics, new understanding about use of antibiotics prevents us to really use that kind of antibiotic, right? It's a bacteriostatic or it's a bactericidal. That means something stops the bacteria is the bacteriostatic. Something that kills the bacteria is bactericidal. So if you use bacteriostatic quite often, then they will breed more resistance to. So that's why we don't want them to use that. And also some people really become septicemic. That means they become infection in the blood because of these antibiotics were not enough. But he stuck to his guns and he said, "This all worked for me for so many years. I'm going to use only this." So that kind of closed mind is really not useful to us, right? So how can you be calm and quiet and not having too many thoughts, but in intuitive awareness? That is the sage's mind. With that, you can get your experiential knowledge, and which is very good because you are not influenced by anybody who is conditioned. Beginner's mind is something that remains curious, want to find out, inquiring, and is open to receive new things. Okay, so you want to understand what is what, what is sage's mind, what is beginner's mind. I wrote an article. I'll get it. Let me get that article and pin it here. Okay, give me 1 second. So that is the Sage's Mind versus Beginner's Mind article I wrote in the LinkedIn this morning. That tells you about the differences and the related questions and all that. Most of the time uh, people are really fascinated about each one. But I was putting like what my understanding about each term. So I put that article there. So if you're welcome to go through that article and understand where you are. You don't have to judge or anything, but just appreciate where you are, what are the things that you could do will be a different topic altogether. But my main thing is in this modern era where there is information overload, where there is a lot of false information on people that is rubbed on, and there's so much out there that you kind of numb down and you don't want to really open yourself to new learning. All these are problems with of the information age because we have a lot of information, a lot of good information that can help our life better, but also information itself can be a problem. It could be overwhelming, it could be negative, it could be toxic also, right? So that's why I thought we should understand these terms and understand those practices which will lead to this kind of. One thing is for certain, your health will improve for sure because you have a quiet mind, so you have less stress hormones. For example, you are dealing with a sage's mind. What he does, he always in the present, in the present moment awareness, right? So he will always be living and then actually enjoying life or taking problems in stride and then finding solutions and all that. So I'm making a case for having this kind of minds to live in this multiplication of information and toxicity of the information, negativity of the information. See, so many people get depressed. Depression is nothing but reinforcing the negative thoughts in a major way. So, if you live in the present, that means you are letting go whatever the past negativity is, or trying to learn from it, or trying to see the positive in that negative somehow, right? Either way, you will not allow your negativity to deepen, 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 right? You will get out of it because you are not negative now. So something insult happened, and if you go on brooding about it, thinking about it, and wondering why they insulted me, why they did all that, that's not really living in the present. That's not letting go of the past and all. But if you live in the present, by definition, you are completely in the present. That means you are not harboring all the past or future things in your mind. Then how healthy you will be. That's what happens with the realized mind, sage's mind, and all that. Okay, even if you don't want to go that much, just letting people go, people live longer. There is a study on the centurions in the Okinawa, Japan. They went and studied all these people are 104, 110, 98, something like that. Okay, most of the centurions. One of the real quality that they found among these people are let go, take it easy, so they don't really harbor all this enmity or hatred or jealousy or any of those things. They live in the present, right? That's itself is very healthy if you can really do that. Okay, so that's why on the one hand we are overwhelmed with the information and the toxicities. On the other hand, we are sucked into it without our knowledge. So what I am telling is, make the thought conscious, make it deliberate, intentional, here and now. What can I perceive in the present moment? Then you will automatically cultivate the qualities of serious mind. You have to work on yourself by turning inward, paying attention to your thoughts and slowing them down and turning the negativity into positive, right? That's how your mind will get rid of all the tendencies that you have developed over centuries of life, or your past experiences, your school, your parents, your culture, your readings, everything breeds you certain personality, and you think that is you, but actually you are not that. You are the awareness that is having all these thoughts. Okay, we build up a personality thinking that that is what we are, but it's actually not, right? So that those kind of people who have realized the inner essence of themselves, and that is beyond thought and body, they are really healthy and not having this movement of thought, so they don't have the potential for stress hormone induced problems, right? So that is where it is, living in the present. And also another side effect is you sleep very well when you are living in the present, and when you are really cultivating all the perceptions in the present moment, so it's much easier when you sleep the mind to be cleared, and then revitalized, both the body and the mind revitalized in the sleep. That's the purpose of the sleep, is to get our body and mind completely revitalized, right? All the toxicities, chemicals, everything that accumulated during the day will be washed out by the sleeping process. That's why if you have a very deep sleep, even few hours, then you get up in the morning having a lot of energy. Okay, that's why in diabetics, the other places where we see, you definitely need good night's sleep. They are affected if you see them in the morning. That's why all these night calls, really sacrificing the sleep, not understanding how to slip into deep sleep. You can do actually some things to get into deep sleep. That's what I teach a lot of my students in the wellness club too, how to be in the present, be attentive during the day, and then in the night clear the mind and then go to sleep. And then when you get up in the morning also, you have to do something like that. Okay, so those are the things that I wanted to bring about, because it's not like about going back and staying in the old. No, no, they have found some truths about the universality of this thinking mind, and how it can block us from learning new, or how we can really make our my life miserable by going into the past and getting all this. For example, if you have geriatric patients, which I do, what we notice there is, many of them cannot recall what happened yesterday or day before yesterday. Because recent past they don't recall. But what they recall is something in their younger age, something in their middle age, some inconsequential things. All those memories are buried because they never attempted to get over them or get rid of them from them. So these old people, they suffer a lot because of these recurrent thoughts happening all the time. The more you think unconsciously like that, the more they will be strengthened. And then when you don't want it, when you are not doing anything, and then you are with yourself, all these memories come and bother you. Then they put them on some sleeping pills. They make much worse. Okay, so this is actually the truth. Even if you want to take up these meditation practices, all these things at the later age, they may not help you to get rid of these old memories, because in yoga, they describe this as tendencies and also samskar. That means they already formed a ingrained neuronal path, and then they happen that. That's where the neuroplasticity works, if we can reverse that neural path, right? So this is all connected with the modern neuroscience too. So my thing is, when I see people with information overload, and people with brain fog, or insomnia, or headaches, or not able to control what they're talking, sometimes they blurt out things and they make problems for themselves. They don't have good relationships sometimes because of that. All those things are happening because we don't have a foggiest idea about what is thought, what is mind, what is sage's mind, what is the beginner's mind. So I'm bringing the wisdom of the ancients in a way that we can understand the modern challenges and use that hacks of wisdom to really provide solutions for the modern life and improve the not only quality of life but also as human beings we are beyond that instinctual, beyond the repetitive or limited human being into something more quality. I hope that makes sense. And then, if you have any questions or anything that you want to talk to me about, you're more than welcome to communicate with me. Obviously, if you are interested, people are interested in this, and then especially about the information overload. Many of the doctors are really interested in that because they are bombarded with a lot of information now. Before, it used to be the patient examination and then chart a few lines of the chart and write it down. But now, after the EMR has come, there is so many data points that the physicians have to enter, and lots of time they resent that because they like to talk to the patient, work for the patient, improve the patient, and all that. But now they are treating the chart, they are kind of putting all the data in the EMR, and that is also increasing as we go along. It's not decreasing. It should have made much easier. So one grace of that is you can master them or spend some time initially, so that later on it will help you a lot. But you have to figure it out. As a computer scientist, as somebody who wrote there, they are different. Doctors are different, but you have to figure it out how they have done. For me, the blessing was I was very keen on learning how the EMR works, how we can create templates. And nowadays, they have templates, but then other people are asking us to change the data to suit their revenue needs and all that. Okay. But then doctors are overwhelmed with EMR documentation, and which is actually one of the chief reasons of their burnout, by the way. So people are attempting several things. What I am saying is that data will be there as long as you let it influence you. Don't be completely enamored by it. So I teach them how to be aware of the present moment, and then work with the thought as the object. Don't think that you are the thinking. That's a fundamental problem with the Western society. They, like Rene Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. That's the fundamental difference. I am conscious, therefore I am. In my consciousness, I have thoughts. That's a different perspective altogether. You just not to say the word, you have to live that. Then most of the time you'll be living in that silent um, solitude of the mind, and you won't be overwhelmed by the so much coming. And also, you cannot have to take everything as though that is the Bible, right? You just let it go, some of the inconsequential information, and also have insights from the information that is presented, and understand the insights, go and examine and then study it. But actually people try to put a lot of bits of information which is not really good. Okay. So that's what you should be thinking about. Okay. Hopefully this makes sense to you all. Uh, Sanya is there? I don't know. She sent me a message. I don't understand what she was saying. Uh, the message happened on the. I don't see her on the clubhouse. I see her on the wisdom, but she sent a message for me. I don't understand that. Uh, so, so make an attempt to understand what are these different categories I told you, and then use the thought meaningfully with control, and then don't suffer the consequences of this information barrage or tsunami that we are having now. And also, if you go to room to room to room without having any particular understanding of this, you can be having this information overload. Even the new apps for the AI, everybody talks very enthusiastically about this. Hi, Sanya. So these apps, and then we buy them, and that we are getting. I was also a victim of that for a while, and then some of them are very good. Okay, so I have this weakness. Anything that is coming very good technologically, that does very quick and very easily, I kind of try to look into that. That's my beginner's mind, right? I want to be open to the new ones, right? But I realized that very quickly because I reflect on these things every day. So then I sat down the other day and wrote down what apps am I using. I'm using what for stream, like a this Restream I'm using, and all the other devices I'm using for stream. I have the Zoom. I do those classes of my yoga on the Zoom. So like that, I kind of identified the functions that I'm using them for, and am I really doing them, or am I just fascinated because somebody who is really experts in this artificial intelligence they presented it, where they were doing lots of things which I'm not doing, right? They are selling a lot of things, I'm not doing that. So why should I have all those things? Then I dumped them because it was curious, it was interesting, but beyond that, they can overwhelm you. So you have to make an attempt in this day and age, constantly evaluating what we are getting information from, where we are getting information, and then prune them. That is what I call detoxification of the digital world. Unless you do that, you can be toxified by it very quickly. It's coming that quickly. And also, people are doing a lot of things and bringing you a lot of things, but then are you just playing with them, or are you living? Your life is enhanced by that. That's also another thing. You have to stop and do that. So this perspective of what is thought, what is mind, how does the mind of a sage work, what is good about having a beginner's mind. All these things are important. If you don't do them, then you won't be living in the present much. You'll be living in the information world, and that is going to be more with the VR. That comes up. People are going to be doing that more too. So those are the points I wanted to make today, and so hopefully that made some sense for you guys, the ones who are um, on the Wisdom app also. So anybody wants to come up, you're more than welcome to come and talk about this. This is a relevant topic. This is where we are living with the realities of information age, and we need to take a look at it and be in charge of that. If you want to be really healthy, you want to take care of what's going on between your two ears. Don't allow too much information seep in, first of all, and then let it settle there, and, and also suffer the consequences before it is too late. I have seen doctors who are very, very smart about their profession, about what they understood, because they have to read manuals, volumes of information, right? It's okay, but then if you, for example, there is some energy metabolism, and you want to understand the latest findings and all that, and you have a sequence of science, how who was started, how they started, where they are understanding, and all that, right? Then you are exposed to Eastern philosophies on what they talk about energy. It seems they know a lot more than we know now as a modern scientific community, but doesn't mean they are right and these people are wrong. But it is just that the mind that they used was not like this noisy, chattering mind. It was more of intuition, awareness, that's much superior. And you can see that too. Suppose you're working on something, however much you try with your intellect, with your analysis, you don't get the solution. But you leave it alone and go, and then you have sudden aha moment, intuitive moment, where something comes the solution from somewhere, right? That is what we call creativity and all that. But actually, if you look at it, when we calm the chattering mind, this insight happens. That is shown in so many lives anyway. So you got to understand what is chatter, what is real conscious thought and perception, and then deliberately work yourself towards it. So these are practical problems, but immense benefit if you understand these ancient ways of looking at life, understanding the truths of the life, exposing what is not truth, and also be careful about it on a day-to-day life. Because many people don't understand all these things. They don't want to control their mind, or they will come and talk whatever they want to talk. Then you are exposed to that too. So um, in my wellness club, what I do usually is I make them be in the awareness. I don't encourage the discussion of anything in the first few minutes and all, unless it is something related to the practice, right? So that kind of uh, practice in the moment, being in the present, and then using the thought is what I'm talking about. Bring your awareness to the front and then think consciously, deliberate. And after you are done, let it go. Don't let it slip into your subconscious and form these ingrained thoughts and all that. Then you will pay for it down the line. So many people don't pay attention to this, is it? For example, a lot of people more like they take it as it happens, as though it is the natural thing. It is not really natural, you know. Okay. I don't know why the volume is not there, Sanya, because I can see the volume all the way up here. Can you hear me now? Give me a signal if you can hear me. Oh, I was speaking so much. I was disheartened that people are not able to hear that, you know. But we have no idea. The volume is open here, and we're able to. You can't hear me at all. I think here the clubhouse people are listening. I think, right? Can you hear me in the clubhouse, Sonia? Give me an indication. Anyway, this is a topic again, like I was talking about, simple living, higher thinking is a part of this. What is simple is easy for us. Just just be with your uh, um, daily living activities of daily living, consumption, the style of living, and the way we spend time. Things are we can make it simple, right? Not to have so many cars, so many houses, so many clothes, and all that, right? So we're not occupied with a lot of consumption, but deliberately keep it simple, right? And then that's easy, because then you can reserve all that energy and the time to explore within yourself and see what is universal truths are, how can we learn by ourselves, and that's in the genre I'm bringing this. What is mind? What is thought? What is sage's mind? What is beginner's mind? Can we um, have the quality of that to some extent, if not completely, to some extent, because we don't sacrifice as much as they do, but then we don't have to, right? But my thing is much more practical. What are the problems of the modern information age? How can we have some hacks from the already experienced human beings? These Somehow these tools that they have done helped people for thousands of years. But now we have a new menace. Technology and information, they are not all that they cracked out to be. They got to understand what are the other side of the technology and also the information age, and protect your mind, protect your health, protect your concentration, enjoyment, and all that. That is my real thing I have been doing every day, in this one. So, anything else? Anybody want to come up and ask me anything? Otherwise, I will close down, in a few minutes. Okay. All right. I will continue this topic because it is not a simple topic or something easily digestible. But the main thing is you got to listen this, and then you go and investigate it on your own, and then you will be able to um, see whether you are operating on your conceptual mind, on your imaginary mind, or your conditioned mind. Nobody need to judge anybody, but you can feel where you are. If you are dogmatic, if you are not open, you will know if you really look at it. Then you can find out what are the ways, or you can find out the truth of the matter, and then get it operational in your life. Long process is main thing is cleaning what the dirt we have accumulated so far, and that gives you a lot of serenity, a lot of peace and happiness and bliss inside. Okay, so I'll be seeing you again tomorrow. And tomorrow morning I have this 7 o'clock hour where I talk about Satsa, Association of Good People for Investigation of Universal Truth, including who are we. That's what we do in 7 o'clock. Some friends are coming there. That's fine. And then at 9 o'clock Central Time, I'm going to do a audio, LinkedIn audio live. On LinkedIn. Okay. And then again in the evening, 7 o'clock, I'll be with Docs and Burnout to talk about almost the same subject, probably. Okay. So I'll see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Thank you.